अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नारायण परा वेदा देवा नारायणाङ्गजाः नारायण परा लोका नारायण परामखाः नारायण परो योगो नारायण परं तपः नारायण परं ज्ञानं नारायण परागतिः। तस्मात् येन मनसा भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः श्रोतव्यकीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येयपूज्यश्च नित्यदा। जयति जगति मायां यस्य कायाधवस्ति वचनरचनमेकं केवलं शाकलय्य ध्रुवपदमपि यातो यत्कृपातो ध्रुवोऽयं सकलकुशलपात्रं ब्रह्मपुत्रं नतास्मि। सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः। We are seeing the Narada Bhakti Sutras, and we saw in the last few videos that Bhakti is Parama Prema towards Bhagavan. And when we show that Parama Prema towards Bhagavan, we experience Amrtatvam, that is bliss, a state of bliss. And what are the results of experiencing that bliss is, we do not care for any desires in the materialistic world. We do not hate anyone. We do not rejoice in anything. We do not have any desires in this materialistic world itself, because that bliss which we experience by the Parama Prema towards Bhagavan is superior than all this. And that same concept is explained more detailed in this sutra, that is Sutra 6 of Narada Bhakti Sutras. Yat jnatva matto bhavati stabdho bhavati atmaramo bhavati. Here the key word is jnatva. In the Sutra 4 it was labdhva, Sutra 5 it was prapya, and now in this sutra, that is Sutra 6, it is jnatva. Jnatva means knowing. So knowing that amrtatvam, he becomes intoxicated in bhakti. Matto bhavati, stabdo bhavati, he merges in Bhagavan. He is so absorbed in that blissful feeling itself. And atmaramo bhavati, he is merged in that atma. He is merged in that atma. That is when bhakti goes beyond a level, it brings out the divinity in us. So it reveals the Atma in us. That is the pinnacle of bhakti. And sage Narada is telling about that high grade bhakti, not the ordinary bhakti. So when we see that Bhagavan, initially we begin with the form of Bhagavan, worshipping the form, or going to temple, or having that image or vigraha of Bhagavan in our house, and all that. In the initial stages we begin like that only. But it goes beyond all those limits, and at one stage, we see Bhagavan in our mind, that form of Bhagavan in our mind. And beyond that, when that stage also crosses, that Rupa of Bhagavan disappears. We don't see the Rupa. The Rupa of Bhagavan disappears, and we will be absorbed in that bliss. That bliss is sage Narada telling in his sutras. We will be absorbed in that state. Stabdo bhavati, absorbed in that state. So there will be no reaction, outward reaction in us, because we don't feel the body consciousness itself. We will be absorbed in that feeling, and sometimes we will be there in that meditative state for some 1 or 2 days even. Some great bhaktas will be there in that state for 1 or 2 days itself. And matto bhavati, he becomes intoxicated in bhakti, and he is not aware of how he is reacting. Sometimes the tears flow from his eyes, sometimes he will be in that smiling state, sometimes he will speak something which others will not understand because he is talking with Bhagavan, he is speaking that with Bhagavan. No one understands it. It will be not in our normal way which we behave. So the people are very curious about it. They think that he is matta, that is insane, because he's talking to himself, and they just reject him, ignore him, scornful looks they give. So he is not concerned about that all that because he is not in that body consciousness itself. He is in that with that Atma Ramo Bhavati. He is in that Atma enjoying that bliss. So these are all the outward reactions of that supreme state of bliss. He is not aware of body or mind, and he merges in Bhagavan. Atma Ramo Bhavati. He becomes that Atma himself. And Stabdo Bhavati, he is absorbed in that state. And Matto Bhavati, he behaves like an intoxicated in bhakti, lost his control, inebriated state of bhakti. All these are the explanations given by the acharyas for that state. He will be not that in the normal state as we are. So he will be criticized or maybe scorned for his action. He doesn't know about all that. He is not conscious of all that itself because he is in Atma. He is merged in Atma. Only when we see him, we see that difference. So he will not disturb others. He will not disturb others, but he will be merged in that state of bhakti. Sometimes he becomes calm and sometimes he react like this. This is the pinnacle of bhakti. It is at this stage the bhakti turns into jnana, and when he is merged in Bhagavan, he gets a lot of information from Bhagavan, that who Bhagavan is and all that he understand. But he cannot express it outside because all those are beyond words. So he will be there in that state for some time and he will come out of it. That Rupa of Bhagavan itself will disappear. He may be worshipping the form of Bhagavan, but that form and all will disappear in that supreme state. Only that blissful feeling will be there. So initially, bhakti can be said as an emotion, but when it turns to jnana, it is knowledge. And at one stage, it crosses that jnana itself. Jnana is not needed. Jnana is only an information. When we read about all this, it is information. But when for a bhakta, it is not information, it is not emotion, because it is beyond the five sense pleasures. It is beyond that. He experiences that bliss alone. It cannot be said as information or emotion or anything. He crosses all limits and he remains in his own quietude, reaches that self. Atma Ramo Bhavati. So that is the inner peace he experiences by bhakti, by parama prema towards Bhagavan. So that is the Sutra 6. And now in the next sutra, that is Sutra 7, Bhagavan says that is a sage Narada says that Sana Kamayamana Nirodharubatvat. It is not the Kamayamana, means Kama means the desire. It is not that happiness or bliss which we experience when our desires are satisfied. Now, Kamayamana, it is not that desire satisfaction. What is desires? We expect something and we enjoy it through our senses. Only five senses we enjoy. Either we see or we experience by touch or by taste. When we taste a very delicious sweet, that is Vishaya Sukha, Indriya Sukha, object. And we experience through it is Indriya. But this Parama Prema and what one experiences by that Amrdatvam is beyond all that. It is doesn't belong to all these sense pleasures. That's why we can only, this is only an information to us now. Only when we experience, then we can realize it. Sage Narada has experienced it and he is explaining it. So when we experience that same bhakti, we can say that, oh, it's true. What Sage Narada said is true. He's a great guide for us. We can realize then only. So it is beyond the physical pleasures or the indriya sukha. Na kamayamana, it is not of the nature of kama, that is the physical pleasure or the indriya sukha. Generally, what is a sukha? Why do you want these desires? We want happiness. So we want to, when we taste a good food or when we see a good scenery, why do we go to picnic and all that? To see good scenery or to experience something special there. That gives us happiness. Only when it gives us happiness, we want to experience all that through our five senses. We have desires because we want to experience happiness. But a Parama Prema Bhakta, that is a Parama Bhakta, when he shows that Parama Prema towards Bhagavan, he is experiencing the Amrtatva, which is million times great than this happiness of the Indriya Sukha. So he automatically he renounces this materialistic world, mundane life. Nirodha Rubatvat. Like that only the renunciation should come. Nirodha Rubatvat means it is of the Rupa of renunciation. Only like that only the renunciation should come. Or otherwise, when we force our indriyas to draw back from the materialistic world, it will not work. It will again go and go. When we experience that indriya, that bliss of that Bhagavan, automatically we do not have any interest for this worldly life. For example, when we want to taste a very sweet, a Bengali sweet, when we are experiencing it, when someone gives us something like very sour thing, do we go for it? We automatically reject it. We no, I don't want. I have this sweet. So, just like this, the Amrtatva of Bhagavan or experiencing that blissful nature of Bhagavan is supreme than all the other Indriya Sukha. So, naturally, the renunciation comes for that supreme Bhakta. He don't want to force renunciation. Naturally, it happens to him. So, in Bhakti, actually, the great Bhaktas, they don't go for this bliss. They show Parama Prema towards Bhagavan, and all these comes naturally to them. It is natural to them. This blissful feeling, the ignoring the external world, all that happens naturally, and he is established in that blissful state itself. He doesn't want any external pleasures of after that because he has tasted something supreme. He doesn't want anything like ordinary like that, which all of us we experience. Even the richest man, the great person with a very high position, what he experiences cannot be compared, or it will not come even 1% to the Atmarama. By that bliss one experiences by showing Parama Prema towards Bhagavan. And so he naturally, automatically renounces this world. And when he renounces this world more and more, he become attached to Bhagavan more and more. He enjoy that bliss more and more because there will be no disturbance. When we have this worldly life, there will be always some intrusion coming in. So when he renounces everything, he remains in that peaceful state forever. So that unconditional love by nature is sacrifice and it is never desirous. So automatically it comes to that Parama Prema. When we show that Parama Prema towards Bhagavan, it is not based on any desires like what we desire in the materialistic world. Na kamayamana. And Nirodha Rubatvat, it automatically brings in renunciation. Only by renunciation we can experience that bhakti perfectly, or otherwise the worldly desires will intrude us. So when one says renunciation, what all to be renounced? What do we need to renounce to experience that Amrtatvam or that show Parama Prema towards Bhagavan? That I will explain in my next video because that is the next sutra. Om Namo Narayanaaya.